Hi guys, Logan here, and today on the show we're gonna be talking about something special. We're not gonna be talking about comic books. Usually we're gonna probably be talking about comic books about Superman and Batman and Captain America and stuff. But in this episode we're gonna be talking about non-superhero comic books. So no radioactive spiders, no gamma radiation, no um anything, no powers at all. We're gonna be talking about a very cool comic book called Hack Slash. And now, what Hack Slash essentially is it's this comic book. All you Pacific horror fans, you guys who are the fans of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Streets. This is essentially what this book's about. It's essentially a book about and you see all these guys in the background here, above on the other behind in front of her. uh, these are slashers, and these are essentially guys, guys who are like the guys from the movies. And essentially, what a slasher, by this book's definition, is that a slasher is a guy you essentially he goes on a rampage, starts killing people. You kill him, and then the next movie comes out, and then he's back. He's perfectly fine. He doesn't have any scars or any battle wounds or anything. He's like back, and he's just rampaging again. And this is what essentially this book is. And this book is about this school year. I've got two other. This is volume one, and this is volume two. Death by Sequel. This one's also pretty good. And then this one is the prequel story. This is written by Tim Seeley. All these books are written by Tim Seeley, and this is a prequel story that he wrote and published like around just before he finished the series. So this one's very very good. Um, and essentially, what Hackslash is about is about this girl, and she goes to high school, and then her mother's lunch lady there, and she's been living with her mom her whole life. Her dad left, so her mom's been trying to support her and everything. And then Cassie Hack, who's the main character here, she gets picked on alone in school. So then her mom secretly starts cutting up students, serving them in lunch. So a bit of Sweeney Todd stuff here. Um, uh, and yeah, it's and then the police discover her, and then she commits suicide. But only a year later to come back as a slasher, who to come back as a slasher who but only to come back as a slasher and start doing a routine again, start cutting up students and everything. So then Cassie is forced to kill her own mother, and then she then goes onto this, and then she then becomes this hunter, and she starts hunting slashers. She starts hearing rumors about slashers in different parts of America. So she goes on this trip around America, destroying guys, and then eventually she meets this big slasher guy, this big Russian slasher guy called Vlad. He's got like this mask. He's got like these like machete blades, sort of like Jason. And anyway, and then he ends up becoming her. He never killed anybody. He's like one of the good slashers, and then he ends up being her sidekick, and then the dynamic between the two is very funny. They're sort of like this weird version of the dynamic of Batman Robin, uh, which I found pretty interesting. And yeah, it's a really really good comic book. And uh, uh, and yeah, and then it's from Image Comics. And the thing is, if you guys really don't want to, if you guys want to get into comic books and you don't want to have to read, all these superhero comic books, then this comic book is for you. It is just so good and so well written. I mean, if I had to give these comic books a rating, this one I'll probably give 9 out of 10. Uh, this one I'd probably give a 10 out of 10, and then this one, okay, yeah, this one I'll probably give like an 8. This one was not as good as the other two, but it was still very very good. Anyway, let me just show you the art here. Now, what this comic book does is that it will be different art. Is that every story is written by Tim. Every story that they do is written by Tim Seeley, but each story has like a different artist. And now they don't go against any licensed characters. So you won't see her going up against Freddy Krueger or Jason, which sucks. Really wanted to go up against Jason. He's my favorite. But anyway, uh, uh, essentially, but what does happen though is that she goes up against characters who have similar powers or similar abilities to famous slashers from movies. Like, for instance, in this one story here I'm about to show you, I just need to get a picture of the little kid. Um, there's like a picture. This picture here. That's a picture of the little kid, and he attacks people in his dreams. So he's similar to Freddy Krueger. When I read it, I read it when I read it. I definitely felt like I definitely felt like I was actually reading, watching a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. But yeah, it's very good. There is a comic book where she goes up against Chucky from Cedar Chucky, but I haven't got that comic book or read it yet, so I still need to get that. And this really is it's good for you horror fans who like those movies, and also it really is very very good for people who um for people who want to get into comic books, like I said before, but don't want to read superheroes. They can just start reading about reading this stuff. And this comic book is very good. It's very very funny. Each trade paperback features different stories, different art, obviously. Let me just show you now. And like I showed you the first art picture I showed you, it's very different. It's like very very like detailedly drawn. But then it can switch. But then, like for instance, for instance, on this side of the page, this is the art that's still left over from the story from the Freddy Krueger like story, and then it switches over. Then here's the new art for the next story, and this is sort of like, like Cartoon Network kind of stuff. So I think that's pretty interesting, because a lot of comic book people I talk to, I've watched on the internet, complain on when they review comic books. They complain that the art is too that the art is bad, and for the whole book you got to see the same art the whole time. But with these trades, the art changes each story, so it keeps it very fresh and original. And yeah, it's a great story, so you guys should definitely check it out. It's very funny. The comic books are really hilarious, especially her psychic Vlad. He's like, how he's this big Russian guy with this mask and these machete blades, but he's actually this big softy, and he likes to watch like Powerpuff Girls, and he always wants to, and every time they walk past the pet store, he always asks her if he can get a puppy, and it's it's very very cute. I think it's a really really good comic book. But if you guys do start collecting the series, I do recommend though that you read this first. Okay, this is not really a good cover, but this is Hack Slash by First Maniac. This is the prequel. Like I said before, this is the prequel to the series, and I would definitely recommend you guys check this one out first, because in volume 1, in first cut, it starts out and she's already gone. It goes into very little detail about her origin story, but she's already at her pinnacle. She already has gained experience from killing various slashers, so so she's already like badass and everything. Whereas with this one, this is explains. Okay, it doesn't talk about her killing her mother, but it talks about when she decides that she wants to go on this trip around America and kill slashers, and then her first slasher that she goes out and kills, other than her mother. And it's a very very good comic book. And this one, the art stays the same throughout the whole book. One of the only ones that the art stays off the book, but this is a very very good read. And I suggest you guys start on this one first, because this one focuses I think introduces you and makes you understand her character a lot better. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching my video, guys. And give a shout out. I like to thank a lot of the guys who gave me hits and watch my videos on YouTube. Anyway, for this video, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. Thank you. Cheers.